This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Hey, I was thinking about you today. I heard your song on the radio. And then I got on Facebook and realized why I was thinking about you. So give me a call. Bye.
March 21st, 2021. My name is Corey Winfield. Marney is in the other room doing stuff for me. So we decided we're going to do a best of episode tonight. It is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Appreciate you listening. And when I brought it up to Marney about doing a refresher or a flashback or replay, whatever you want to call it, she mentioned the one from her birthday in 2020. It's on March 17th is when we recorded it. And life was so much different for us then. And just getting into the COVID thing, trying to figure out what was going to happen there, what was going on. We were in the middle, I think, or just about to start looking for a place to rent together. And that was fun in its own right. It's just during COVID and you can't really go anywhere and everything was about to shut down. I mean, it was pretty crazy. But as Marney mentioned to me when I was talking to her about which one we should play, and she said, yeah, you were anti-COVID, like you didn't think it was real, and you wanted to see dead bodies, and I don't know, did I say that? Maybe I did. Anyway, enjoy this playback, and keep in mind this is from St. Patrick's Day, Marney's birthday from 2020. Enjoy.
Sound check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield, Ryan Beckman, and Chris Goss.
It is March 17th. The year is 2020. Since the death, the birth. Actually, it was like 5 years after the birth, or 5 or 6 years after the birth of Christ. So technically, it really could be 2021. I don't know. Just saying. Nobody knows. I think that's why the Bible says to them, you won't know when the end is near. And the end times, the revolution. Or no, it's not the revolution. What is it?
I don't know.
The end of days. I know I'm not well skilled in the scriptures. And yes, I said scriptures on purpose like that. But no, but for real, a lot of people talking about this is the end, man. Read the Bible. It'll tell you. Tyrone was saying that earlier. And Chris and Ryan, forgive me. Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield, and I'm joined by Marney tonight. Marney, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah, did you party like it was your birthday?
I had a wonderful birthday. I had a great birthday. I was around people that I love, and it was exactly uneventful like I wanted it to be.
Well,
yeah,
you can't really go out anywhere, of course. We're in northern Michigan, but from my understanding, it's pretty much
everywhere.
All of America except Wyoming. I don't know. Do we ever count Wyoming in anything?
I don't think so.
People listening in Wyoming are probably like, yeah, man. I used to listen to your podcast, too. But no, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hope it was great. But Tyrone, earlier, we went to Petoskey to take them to the store. Because he was like, are they closing Walmart? So we went and grabbed our man Tyrone. We took him to Walmart, and Chris and Ryan. And Tyrone was saying he was way back. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to read the Bible to you. Because he was like telling us, like, this is what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a religious guy. I'm spiritual. I believe there's a God, but I just don't buy into I don't know. To me, I don't know. We're just not talk about that, okay? Because I don't want to really get into that. This isn't a religious show. But anyway, he was saying, with all the quarantine and people going crazy. Well, people aren't going too crazy. But I saw a video from the Walmart in Benton Harbor, Michigan, where people were fighting, and who knows what that was over. I guess it was over chicken.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you didn't?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I'll have to show it to you. It's chicken or something like that. So Tyrone, it might be on to something with that, and I'm sure a lot of people who are religious probably think, hey man, take a look around, look at what's been happening. But they've been saying that since I remember my grandma saying that when I was 7.
Like the end
it's
is near.
Look at this is happening. This is a sign, and da da da. And the Iraq War. Oh, look, this is going to be the end. And I was like 12. So people have been saying that forever, but this is weird. This is something that nobody's really ever experienced before, or at least that's alive today. Just as far as everything just shutting down and being completely weird. Mm-hmm. And, if you go to a restaurant, it has to be takeout only. And I don't know. The conspiracy guy in me, really thinks that there's something else still going on that they're not telling us. But what kind I don't know. At first I'm like, what kind of, is somebody planning an attack? Is Russia putting something, or is somebody coming after us and they just want everybody to be away from it? And I don't think they would go that far with it. And then I don't see the whole, and that's the thing too. Don't get me started. We'll talk about this for 3 hours. But how do we really know that's going on in other countries?
There's got to be enough evidence of the death and dying and the actual, diagnosis and cause of death that's being tracked to certain, the disease that's in the body that's being identified as the coronavirus or whatever it's called.
You think this goes back to me having trust issues?
Probably.
Because I just don't believe the government. And then I hear that they're saying, everybody's going to get...
Do you think that they're blowing it out of proportion? Is that what you're saying?
It's
a real thing. You got to just say hands down. There's no doubt. It's a real thing.
Well, the NBA player, he was on the news and TV talking about, yeah, man, I got it, but now I got no symptoms or nothing. I don't got a fever. I don't got nothing. But they say I got it, so...
Yeah. Well, people with AIDS might not have symptoms either.
Well, no, people with AIDS have symptoms.
Well, you know what I mean. HIV. Okay. Whatever.
Well,
you know what I'm saying is the disease is there. The disease is real. That's the disease.
But it's not a disease.
The disease
virus.
Virus, what have you, is transferable. We know all these things. Dink, dink, dink. Can't change that, right?
Yeah, you can.
Well,
I don't know. I think, but then there's the whole, everybody's gonna get $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait on that. But with everything going on, you were talking about, and you're a bit concerned with people in recovery, and you brought it up the other day, is when AA meetings start getting canceled, what are people going to do? And I thought about, and something I'll probably do in the next day or two, is start holding online chat meetings, because we can do that from our website, I believe. So I know we can chat one-on-one with people, but I believe we can have a chat room. I don't know. I got to figure that stuff out, but that's an option. There's other options out there for people who want to do online meetings, but maybe we, I don't know, jump on Facebook and do a Facebook Live, and that way people can jump on too. But I think that could be kind of a cluster, maybe.
Well, and I know I talk about it probably too much, but it's on my mind. It's on my mind a lot. I can't shake it because, I'm in early recovery, you know what I mean? And I structure my life, as such that I'm comfortable with. So, and I do the things that I have to do to maintain that. And it's a daily thing. It's a daily, process. And I have to involve, God and prayer. I have to involve, getting up in the morning and self-care. And I have to involve, for me, a piece of it is accountability with responsibility. So my job, which I'm lucky to still have, which a lot of people are not in that position. Communication with the world, whatever, through my cell phone or through, whoever I'm with at the time. And so, like, daily interaction with other human beings, that hold me accountable, know what I'm doing, know where I'm at, and, meetings, which for me, I'm looking at it and I'm concerned about our community, the recovery community, because I feel like this umbrella or whatever of support in a lot of different ways holes have been like punched into it. You know what I mean? Like, almost like there's like this, or I guess not umbrella. Umbrella would be bad. It would be like the rug has been pulled from underneath us, kind of like everything that was kind of holding us, all these little pieces we put together, to make us, get through the day. It takes a lot from all different aspects, from us. And, because I know I couldn't do it alone. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I still need my support system, and I still need, God. And, obviously, lucky enough, God will always be there for me and, and everyone. But I don't know. It just scares me that if things are disrupted enough in different ways that people will lose sight of what they're doing and what they're working for and get distracted. And we're creatures of habit sometimes. And I know isolation is like a big, huge for people in, recovery, because it's not good.
So you're saying that you're worried about friends that you've made in the recovery community, and maybe some of them might use this as an excuse.
Yeah.
To isolate.
They don't even need to be my friends. They could be people I don't even know. Just people in general.
And it is something that it would be easy, and we find excuses in anything. It's raining and snowing, whatever.
Yes.
Laundry. I don't have laundry. It doesn't take much for somebody in early recovery to just go, let me just talk myself into it. Mm-hmm. We don't obviously say that to ourselves, but in our mind and how our mind works, and the front brain and midbrain and all that, it's crazy how we will turn back to that without even processing it. And it's hard to get it right on when people say, oh yeah, I stopped drinking and I never went back. Okay, good, man. Good for you. Not saying that their addiction wasn't the same as mine, but I don't think it was. But no, like for me, it was a long, hard road. So when people say relapse is a part of recovery, for me it was. And it was hard. It was a long, hard road. And something like this, if this would have happened a year into my sobriety, or not a year into my sobriety, because this is the first time I've had 15 months, but like when I was trying that first year, I'd get 3 months and then boom, I get 4 months, boom. Mm-hmm. And this would have been absolutely 100%
disaster.
Go to the stove. Yeah. I would have made excuses. I would have told people I have a cough. I would have used every little thing I could.
Some stupid crap like, see, it wasn't meant to be. Yep. Not today.
Until I spent every single dollar I had. Until I was vomiting water just to vomit something. It would have been horrible. And I would have been in the hospital just like every other time. But I would have not even thought about the bad part of it. But the time that you build that sobriety up, that 3 months relapse, for me, 4 months relapse, 2 weeks relapse, another month relapse, for all that stuff that I had to go through, I think that those times where I did have those 3 months, I think those 3 months built something.
Yes.
And, sometimes people say, yeah, but you just drink and now you go back to the start. Nah, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I can tell you from my experience, if I didn't put all those months together, I mean, they have to count for something. And when I was on my way to my year, when I was knocking at my 6 month door, and 7 month and 8 month and 9th month and 10th month, and it became easier. It really, really did. Mm-hmm. And now bad things happen. I don't think about drinking. I don't want to destroy my life. I don't want to destroy this, what I've built. And I was talking to a friend of mine tonight, and at first I said that I was mad at myself because of my 30s. I don't remember a lot of my early 30s and late 20s. And it makes me, at first I said it makes me mad that I wasted those years. I wasted time. We only get so much time. And I feel like I wasted it. But then she said something that made me think too, well, you know, I have an opportunity to appreciate the time that I do have, probably more than I would have if I didn't think that I had wasted all those years. Like now it's like, not that I'm trying to hurry up and live life to get them back, but to appreciate the people that I love and have the people that I like in my life, you know, and not have time for trying to put on a front or, oh, I need to have this or have that, and people need to think this about me and they need to think that about me. And I can't control what people think about me. I really can't. The only thing I can do is act. And if somebody wants to be my friend or to like me, then they can do that. If they don't, that's their choice. You know, if they want to hate on me and say that I'm the handsomest devil they know, hey, you know, they can do that. It's not my place. And you start not worrying about that kind of stuff anymore. And you, like I said, worry about the people that you do love and the people that are in your life and the people that you want to matter, and just cherish time with them. And I am blessed that I can do that today. And if you're in early recovery right now and you're thinking, Corey, that sounds great, but it's never going to happen, don't think like that. You have to think positive. You really do. And it's hard sometimes. Coming off a relapse, a friend of ours just kind of reaching out, and first I was like, hey man, I want to help out as much as I can. But then there comes the factor of, okay, why aren't they listening? And then, you know, I was trying to think back of, well, I remember calling people and reaching out, and I didn't do that very often. So when I did, it was serious, and I didn't refuse the help. When people would come over and tell me I needed the help, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I still have $50. You know, I'm not done yet. Mm-hmm. But when I did reach out, I really did need the help, and I took it. So for some people, it's a game, I guess, almost, like to try to get what they want and try to use it and manipulate. And I don't know if this person was doing that or not, and I don't really care. If someone still calls and says they need help, I will try to help them as much as I can. But at the same time, they have to really
want it. They have to really, truly want it. Mm-hmm. And taking the first step is the most important by reaching out. You're right. I agree with you. And this individual does want help and needs help and knows that they do. Whether they're ready or not, that's only they can decide that. You can walk them to the friggin' door if you want to, if you can get them there that far. But I mean, at one point you got to let go of their hand, and it's up to them whether they decide if they're going to stick around or not. You know, and it's gotten to the point where, like, I think for the example that you're speaking of, it's like we can listen and we can be grateful that they've reached out, and we can say we're proud of them and want to, you know, do everything that we can to help, you know, but you can't, it's not about convincing, I guess, because no. I was in the spot before. I'm sure you were too, where you're sitting in that chair and you're like, yeah, I know I'm fucked. I know I'm messed up, and I know I need help. And then they're like, well, this is what you have to do next. And you're like, I don't need help that bad. Like, I don't know about that right now. And plus you're in that spot where you're feeling like crap, you know, and you're low on booze, or you don't have your drug, or whatever it is. And it feels like it's the end of the world. And, you know, does it take that much to take it to the next step, to get to the ER, to get you to rehab or what have you? I mean, that's just the start. I mean, the whole journey in itself it's not like one piece, and there's no right way to do it. There's no way to like walk you through how people get to, you know, every day. People who have 35 years, it's just tomorrow they'll have 35 years in one day.
Right.
You know, it's not like there's no graduation, there's no finish line. You know, it's not like there's some magical anything where you're like, you know, I mean, there's some probably, you know, you're more developed or have established, you know, your lifestyle to where you're not as susceptible, I guess, to a relapse, but that doesn't mean that you're completely, like, you're never going to be completely immune to it.
Right. And just going to treatment is not going to cure you either.
Exactly.
Like, if that person gets into a treatment,
yeah,
that's cool, but that person's been in treatment before. And my advice from someone who's been to these places, and I'll say their name, Pine Rest in Grand Rapids, they are a dual diagnosis. They treat the mental and the addiction part, and I think that is huge because the mental, in my opinion, again, not a doctor, it goes hand in hand. The things that I were running from, the things I didn't even realize, and, you know, as much as I wanted to play things off like, yeah, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm good, it's good, you know, there were issues that I just couldn't get deep enough in my own ego to allow myself to understand what was really wrong. And until I was able to process that, I was a lost cause. But you know, those places that I had gone to, and it was the mental part of it that really had kind of kick-started my, let's dig into this. And there's nothing wrong with being on medication. You know, they put me on Zoloft because, you know, coming off alcohol like that, it's going to bring you down. You're going to go into a depression. That's just what happens. You know, your dopamine levels and everything like that just kind of go wacky for a minute. And that's why when you first quit drinking, like the first couple of weeks, you start feeling better. And you just feel like, man, I can take on the world. It's because that dopamine's like, woo, we got to make some more. And then it doesn't, your brain and your body, it's not making the same level. And then it just drops off and you're just like, boo. And that's when you hit the wall or whatever they call it. And no, they do call it the wall. But for me, it was Zoloft. I mean, it could be different for everybody. I guess they have testing out there that they'll test you to see which one, you know, that you are genetically.
It's expensive.
Or you just do like I did, just keep trying all kinds of stuff. No, but the Zoloft did work best for me. And, of course, I had side effects, which I didn't like, so I immediately quit taking it. But I got back on it eventually, and it really did make a difference. And it wasn't on a high dose, but it helped big time. And, you know, just doing those little things that, of course, I didn't want to do. I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do sober living until I did, you know, and probably one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. And, yeah, did I have to live with a bunch of dudes for a while? Yeah. But there were worse things to do. And it really gave me a sense of belonging. You know, I'm not friends with everybody that, you know, I lived with. You know, there were people there that I just didn't like, and I just chose not to talk to them. Just like everyday life, you know, people at work you don't like, you don't talk to them. Sometimes you have to, but just be cordial, you know, and go about your day and do your thing. But yeah, it was one of those things that just the bonding experience, and, you know, getting into that routine that you were talking about earlier about going to meetings and doing this and doing that. And next thing you know, it's just second nature. And going to a meeting isn't a bad thing. I don't go to a meeting, got to get your 5 in, you know, for the week. No, hey, we always hit this meeting. We always do this. You know, it's Saturday night. You know, let's go to Charlevoix. Let's hit Charlevoix Pizza Company afterward and do a podcast. Those kind of things became the norm. And not doing them felt weird.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just a great, great time and a great experience. So, again, fortunately for me, I didn't kill anybody. It took what it took, and I was able to get into a great place and follow the rules. You know, I made my bed. I did what I needed to do, and you think, wow, you're a 40-year-old man. You had to make your bed. No, I'm going to tell me what to do. Well, sometimes they need to tell you what to do, and then they shouldn't tell you what to do. You get up and you make your damn bed. You know, I mean, you're 40 years old. You can get up and make your bed. You know, you're living in this place for damn cheap. You don't have to pay any, like, bills. You just, you know, pay the sober living expense, which at that time was $375 a month. People are like, they'd be freaking out. What? And the house was nice, and it was a nice area. And like I said, I was truly blessed to land where I landed. And, to go to that Chinese restaurant in Boyne Falls, and the few people there that were good. And I'm thankful that I had all that experience with Pine Rest, with the dual diagnosis. And Pine Rest, their Redwood unit, they only have 22 or 26 beds in that unit. So it's not huge, but you can get in there with Medicaid. Now, if you have private insurance, there's a place that we went to a couple weeks ago in Augusta called Skywood Recovery. I would highly recommend that. Chris and I toured it, and it's an amazing facility. I was jealous. Like when I went to California the first time, Skywood Recovery, as I mentioned before, it wasn't open yet. So that wasn't even an option for me. But oh my gosh, I would have been spoiled. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's set up like almost like the inside. It's like almost like an apartment building almost, but inside, and not like a rundown apartment building either. Like they got little windows, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's really cool actually, and it's on an old golf course in Augusta. And yeah, if you got private insurance, or someone who does, or maybe talk to your church and do private pay with them, that's a good one too. So like I said, Pine Rest doesn't have that many beds in their Redwood unit, but look into the mental part of it, because that is a huge factor. I mean, there's a reason. I mean, drinking was fun for a minute, but then it became a medicine. Mm-hmm. I think it's a Kid Rock. I don't know, it's funny, has a song about getting their medicine or something. I used to like, yeah, it's my medicine. I kind of joke about it, and
I'd say that too. I'd say I'm drinking for medicinal purposes only, or whatever. Everything was for medicinal purposes.
Mm-hmm. Because I was trying to numb something. I was trying to hide from something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be that way, though.
Exactly.
So you got 6 months. Mm-hmm. How you living?
Living clean. Loving it. Everything's really good, I don't know. Like I said, I think why I stress so much about my concern about people in early recovery, or in general, is because a lot idle time was never a good thing for me. When I had pieced together bits of time, when I would fail was always when I found myself with idle time. So, in fact, I'm shocked. Like, my mom even asked me, today, how are you doing with everything, all these different changes and, my body and everything, and just, with work and, I don't know, the whole thing, I was like, you know what? I'm good. And I can say that and actually I'm being honest, being completely honest. And I mean, because I have no reason to lie anymore. That's a beautiful thing. It's kind of weird, because it seems like all the time, I'd get to the point where I'm I could remember what lies I told who. Oh, God. And, what did I tell this person about whatever? And shit. Oh, crap. Sorry. So, and I don't have to live like that anymore. And it's a beautiful thing. And the people that ask me questions like this, it's not because they're trying to dig for any kind of particular answer. It's because they care about me, Mm-hmm. And it's awesome. And so, and if there was something going on, I would tell them about it. And that's another thing. And that's why I'm talking about the support system thing is and why I bring it up like this is not because I'm foreseeing any kind of disaster or anything for any individuals, like you said, a friend of mine or whatever. It's not. It's an overall, just I don't know what I would do if I didn't have what I have right now. You know what I mean? And that scares me for the people that don't have that. And I guess for anybody who's listening, is that I hope that you do have that sort of support. And it's out there. I mean, anybody that goes to any meetings, any number that you've ever written down, those people probably need you just as much as you need them. Don't be afraid to make those phone calls. Don't be afraid to send a quick text. Go to our website. Go on Facebook and, I forget the names of, are we allowed to talk about those? The other website or whatever? The pages that people follow, like Sober.
Yeah, talk about whatever you want.
No, I can't remember the name of it right now. The Sober group or whatever. Anyway.
Think about that.
I will. I'll think about it and get back to you. But anyway, where people post about like their daily sober like quotes and stuff, like inspirational stuff. I don't think that was funny, Corey.
It was a little late.
Now it's funny, but
yeah, Anna has one too. A Facebook that she does. And I don't post on ours as much, but
it's just all I'm saying is to like utilize the strengths and that you have built up to get you to where you are right now, and to hold on to that and to share that with the recovery community. You know what I mean? And to keep your chin up. And people need that positivity. There's so much negative, so much, oh my God, the world is a disaster. And you know what? We don't know that. We don't. And like I said before, I don't remember, you asked me a couple days ago, like, I'm just going to keep on doing me. And like, that's all I can do. But to have the glasses half full kind of attitude, and I'm standing here today, sober and alive, so that says something. And to spread that, experience, strength, and hope to everyone else. That if they do that, it's that waterfall effect.
And earlier we were talking about the isolation and being cut off from their network, and it goes back to, as well as, like, you have to work for your sobriety. And I know that word work just sounds bad, but you have to go after your sobriety. So whether that means if you have friends that are in recovery, which I would assume you do, call them, hey, let's have a meeting on Facebook and just do a check-in. Let's do Facebook Messenger real quick.
Send pictures of the weird crap that you've come up with to do at your house or whatever. Look at the puzzle. I found 2 more pieces in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Look what I've gotten done.
Anything. You can search it out and you can create it. Don't wait for somebody else. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for Marney. Don't wait for Chris. Don't wait for Ryan. Don't wait for anybody else to do anything that you can do on your own. It's simple as sending a message to your buddies, or like saying, hey, let's meet 12 o'clock. You having lunch, or hey, I'm not doing anything today because work. I'm not even working today, so
yeah,
hook up at 8 o'clock. Let's chat it up.
Have your roommate do a blindfold, like, chopped basket from what you got in your kitchen. Make a meal out of like random stuff from your cupboards.
Yeah, you could do that.
No, I'm just saying, you got nothing to do. Find something to do.
Oh, I got something we could do.
Sexual relationship.
Oh, that's the wrong button. I meant to hit this
Crazy.
other one. That's...
Oh yeah, I'm the dirty man tonight.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, just kind of kidding. But I had some news the other day that kind of came down, and it really wasn't what I expected. Kind of caught me off guard. I've been trying to be positive about everything and not even think about the negatives, as you were talking about, half full. And I chose to react in a way that maybe some people would, maybe some people wouldn't. I don't know. But the way I chose to act is to still have faith and still be positive about the things that are going right and the things that are going well. And the fact that I'm not 100% certain about this certain situation. And you know what? I have zero control over it. There's not one thing I can do, not one thing by me drinking or being upset or being mad is going to change it. Not one thing. And does it make me sad inside? Yeah. But again, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to accept it. You know, this is the world we live in, and this is the way things go. Not everything is going to go my way every time. Unfortunately, as awesome as I am, this is something that's on my control. And it was really hard for me to kind of express how I felt, because I felt like, well, since I'm not throwing things around the room and mad, or, you know, breaking to my knees, just crying, or just frustrated, upset, that it might show that I didn't care, and that wasn't the case. It's just the fact that I'm still, you know, holding on. If there's 1% chance sometimes, you know, that's 1% that I'm going to bet on that and just roll with it until I know for a fact there's no chance, you know, for me to win that. But, you know, I was telling Marney the other day, the doctors told me that 98% of the people that came into my condition, they die. 98%. So I was a 2%. So I'll take that all day. And, you know, the only thing I can do is control how I feel and how I think. And yeah, I could be negative. I could be reacting how people think I should react. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do care. But there's nothing I can do about it. And there's no sense of beating myself up over something I have no control over, I guess is all. It's a really long way to say that. I like to hear myself talk, too. That's pretty cool to me.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, anybody can, how you react to every situation is, I think, has a lot to do with where you are at that moment. And, you know, I think as individuals, like we talk about this all the time, that as human beings, we're going to face situations, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, every day. And there's stuff to celebrate. There's stuff to be angry about. There's stuff to fight about. There's stuff to let go. There's stuff to, you know what I mean? The list goes on. And your feelings are your feelings, and how you react to them is how you react to them. Where you're at in life, I think, has a lot to do with your strength as a human being, based on, you know, your faith in God and His plans for you. And, you know, I know for a fact that I made so many poor decisions in my life that I probably should not be sitting here today. But for whatever reason, God kept me around, and I am blessed for that. So I know there's a plan for everything. And I know I'm blessed today to have the people in my life that I have. And I am surrounded by love and support, and I try to give love and support. And I try to give love and support to people that I don't even know. Man. It makes me feel good. Nice move there.
Thanks.
But no, on a serious note, yeah. So, I mean, I think that being faced with how you deal with things there's no real right answer to feelings. Like, there's tons of quotes that you can look up about, like, you know, you can never take anybody's feelings and tell them that they're wrong. Mm-mm. Like, you cannot feel that way, or you're not supposed to feel that way, or, you know, like, questioning, like, I mean, you can make people kind of maybe think further into why it is that they feel the way that they do about things, or why they're reacting the way they react to things. But you're totally, like, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are yours, and nobody can take them from you or tell them that they're wrong. So, you know, that's just the bottom line of it.
One of my favorite quotes of all time, and you could tell with this quote that there's a lot of frustration.
At least in Detroit, you have a bus stop.
And that's one of my favorite quotes, because, you know, like, that is clearly a person that is not happy that where he's living has not a bus stop even. You know, like, But he's willing to change, and he's willing to move through that, and I believe he has. But that quote is a good one, and I'm going to get that on a T-shirt. And speaking of T-shirts, too, if you're not doing anything, check out our shop. You don't have to buy anything, but if you want to, you can now. We've had so many people, hey, how do I get one of those shirts? How do I get one of those? Well, here's your opportunity.
Yep.
And we're going to put more shirts up as the days go along. And we're probably going to start busting out podcasts a little more often, too, just to kind of have something for someone to listen to. If this helps one person, then that's great, and that's victory for us. It helps us too. If we're not planning on doing it, then, well, we could be planning something else. Sorry, I wasn't about to cry. That was just had a little Powerade throat, but yeah. So it does really help us. And Chris said something today. We were at Walmart, and something got brought up about red or orange jumpsuits in jail.
It was the checkout lady.
What'd she say? What was that about?
She said something about, how are you doing today, or something. And he said, well, at least I'm not in a orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Something.
And she said something about jail, like, oh, yeah, I heard that. And he's like, no, next time we're going to your jail or whatever, I'm going to be there giving speeches.
Yeah, he did say that. That's right, I forgot.
And he was 100% serious.
Yeah, he was totally dead serious.
And
she's just scanning away, and he's just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. He said, at least I'm not in an orange jumpsuit behind bars or something. And she's like, oh, huh. And just kept scanning. He goes, and we're behind him, and he goes, the next time I'm there, I'm going to be giving a talk or something like that.
Which
awesome.
Is awesome. And that's, obviously what we want to do at 217 Recovery. That's just one of the things. And, I think Chris is going to be great at it. I think people are going to be able to relate to Chris, and things he says, the things he's experienced in life. And, if he can go through that stuff that he went through and come out the other side with life, a real life, I think that's huge. And hope and inspiration, that's all we can give people. And, we all have stories, absolutely. It's hard to get up there in front of people and share them. We're not proud of the things we've done sometimes. And like I said, it's not for everybody. Some people, they want to come on the podcast and, oh, yeah, I want to be on the podcast. And then they just shut down, or they just avoid me like the plague. And it's like, eh. And a lot of people that have been on my podcast, they relapse. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, they think that I judge them or something, and that most of them should know me better. That no, there's no judgment here. Even the guys that were in sober living with me at one point that maybe have gone back out and used. I get it, man. Like, if you know me or know me well, I'm not judging you. There's some people that I just think, like, I'm not going to get involved because there's nothing I can do to save anybody, and that's just going to be a waste of my time. And some people could say, Corey, well, you just said a minute ago that you'd help anybody. And yeah, to an extent, it's kind of like when we were at the suicide prevention training. Which was amazing. It was. Yeah. One of the questions was, would you go to any length to save somebody? I put no. No, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do. I wouldn't, harm myself. I wouldn't put myself in danger. I wouldn't put my family in danger. There's a lot of things I wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, there's really no wrong or right answer. But the fact that you at least know that, and those are very important things that you wouldn't do, put yourself in harm's way. I don't watch a lot of action movies, but you see a lot of times the guy will jump from the train and the other guy comes to save him. Okay, maybe that's really not in the movie, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many times you see these action movies and, oh, I'm going to save this guy. And not me. I'm not trying to be in no action movie. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to make babies and raise families. That's all I want to do. Not raise families, but create one. But yeah, so big props to Chris. I really like hearing that positivity from him. And sometimes it can be hard, but the fact that he's got something that he's looking forward to. I know for Chris, that day, he walks into a jail to give an open talk, or I think he's just, I think he might cry a little bit, actually. I really think that Chris is kind of sensitive, but I don't know. I think it'll be a wonderful, wonderful time, and I want to be there. And you know, there's things I want to do. You know, next year I'm going to book the Kalamazoo State Theater, and we are going to do like it's hard for me to explain what it's going to be. It's going to be like a stand-up comedy / storytelling / fundraising / entertainment, sober recovery, good time, where people can come, get entertained, learn a little bit about us, you know, hear the stuff that we've been through, the stuff that we don't talk about on here, and just have a good time. And we're going to do that. And, you know, we were going to do like a bus trip to the White Sox, which it's been hard to get that many people to go to a White Sox game, but we were going to do that, and it was going to be a fundraiser. That's not happening now. So there's a lot of things that, you know, I could be like, oh, damn devil, but I just got to look at the bright side of it. And, you know, there's some things going on right now that still could be amazing for us. So we're not going to give up anything, you know, like the UFAM rally. I was so stoked about that, and the fact that they wanted 217 recovery to be a bigger part of it this year. And I was so looking forward to it. Again, I could be like, "Meh," but I know those guys are pretty resourceful, and they're not going to give up. They're not just going to be like, we're not going to be done. You know, maybe if we have to do in October, we do in October.
Right.
You know, but I really want to be a big part of that too. And, damn, I was so looking forward to that. You know, it was going to be, what, May 21st, 20th, something like that? No, 21st. May 21st is when it was. That's a Thursday in Lansing at the Capitol. And we were there last year. So,
day at a time.
Oh, you know, it is what it is. But at the same time, baby steps.
Right.
But I appreciate you listening tonight, though. We're going to wrap it up. And do check out our website, 217recovery.com. We'll be setting up a time probably to chat on there. If you just want to jump on a chat with us, you know, we'll be setting up times like that. And then feel free to like us on Facebook, share us on Facebook with your friends, listen to the podcast. If you need something to do, there's 136 hours of podcasts that you can just...
That's a lot of podcasts to listen to.
Some are good. Some, not so much. But not every podcast is for everybody. So maybe if you're listening to one, or maybe you listen to this one, and the fact that you're listening this long, maybe you did like it. But, you know, there's some that you're going to like. There's some that you're not going to like. It's just how it goes. Some are funny. Some are sad. Some are serious. You know, it's kind of what you get with us. And we're just trying to live in early recovery ourselves. And we're doing a pretty good job of it so far. So they say stick with the winners.
Right.
So until next time, like us, follow us, all that jazz, and we'll talk to you probably on Thursday, but probably tomorrow. I know Project Nation, that's another podcast that just started with Ryan and Dustin. They are going to do another show tomorrow, too. So check it out, and we'll see you when we see you.
All right.